Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. Today's video is a very different video than what I usually do on this channel. So usually on this channel I don't ever do anything really that strays that far from K-pop. If I do, it might be like something random. It's not very often that I stray too far from that. But I thought today I would do a story time because this story time has, number one, I want to give like some warning to people just because I feel like that's important. You know, it's just something that I feel like a lot of people could use, like, just good advice, like, just stuff that I've learned through this process. So if it can help somebody else not go through what I went through, then it's definitely a beneficial video to make. Secondly, this has kind of been an ongoing saga as long as I've been making videos on YouTube. So if you've been watching me for a while, you've probably heard about this at one point or another. I feel like I've referenced it in a couple of different videos. But, yeah. So basically, my story time today is going to be about the apartment complex from hell, which was the apartment that I was living in previously. As you guys can see, I'm clearly not there right now. I'm at my house, my parents' house, and you guys will never see that apartment again because of some stuff that went on. But this did not just start recently. This has been ongoing since literally forever. So I'm going to be telling you guys about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story time. Of course, if you're not like interested in story time, don't worry. I'll have a reaction. I'm filming a reaction later today, so I'll have another reaction, a K-pop reaction later. But like I said, I just wanted to film this because, yeah, it's been kind of an ongoing thing since I started this channel. So, anyways, let's get started. So basically, to get you guys like kind of in the mindset of where the story starts, I have to start back in 2013. Yeah, I know, like 3 years ago. Back my freshman year of college. So my freshman year of college, me and my roommates, we lived on campus housing at our university. We just did it because, you know, it's a very easy option, and we were like, you know, we don't know the area, like all that. So, moved in there. We were living there for a couple months. Okay, so living on campus was very expensive, and at the time, my boyfriend at the time lived off campus, and he paid way less rent. Well, he paid less in rent than I paid, like, living on campus. So, you know, I was like, you know what, next year me and my roommates are going to like definitely move to like off-campus housing and do that. So literally, I think maybe like very early on, like October, early November, we start looking at different apartments. And at one point we were looking at apartments, and you know, we were seeing things we liked, things we didn't like. And at one point, somebody mentioned to me this new apartment complex that was being built. They were like, hey, you know, it's going to be built, like, in time for next fall. They're like, you know, they're leasing, like, now. Like, you guys could definitely look into them. And I remember getting a card from, the leasing place. So, I told my roommate about it. We ended up looking it up online. And, you know, they didn't really have, like, photos because it was being built, but they had, like, sketches of it, and it looked super cool. And we were like, okay, cool. So me and my roommate ended up getting in contact with the people, and we met with a leasing agent. So, by the way, this girl, like, that we met with, she was super nice. Like, she was so friendly. She was like, yeah, this place is going to be awesome. She was, like, telling us all the amenities they were going to have, like, all this. And for everything that they had, it was not that expensive. It was way cheaper than what we were paying to live on the university's site. So we were like, yeah, like, you know, that's awesome. So after, like, talking to our parents about it and, like, comparing it to other places, we decided to sign a lease. And this is one thing that I will tell you guys. We did not look at other apartment complexes hard at all. Like, at all. If you were looking to move into an apartment, don't just settle on one. Definitely go and actually look at other ones. We did look at other ones online, but we were literally only comparing prices. We weren't looking at, like, you know, what it looked like on the inside, or like, you know, the convenience to school and stuff like that. Like, this place, we were kind of like drawn in by the fact that it was going to be brand new. Nobody ever would have lived there before us. You know, they were telling us, oh, we're going to have all this great stuff. And once again, it was close to the school, and we were going to have a bus to the school and like all of that. But, you know, we didn't really do like a lot of research, which in retrospect we totally should have. But, you know, when you are thinking, oh, we're going to get something brand new, it's really exciting. So anyways, me and my roommate basically ended up signing a lease. We signed in November of 2013, so probably, like, I would say mid to late November. I would say, like, late November, honestly, that we probably, like, signed our lease. And then, you know, basically, like, over the next couple months, we found, like, 2 other roommates that we were going to room with, and it was really exciting. We were getting super excited, you know, Our one roommate had like a bunch of furniture. She was like, you know, so I'll just bring it with me. She's like, you guys won't have to worry about anything. You'll just have to get the stuff for your room, because it was an unfurnished apartment. We were like, okay, cool, like awesome. And everything just seemed to be going really well for like the next couple months. Because like I said, we signed in like November. We weren't going to be able to move until August. So really it just seemed like, you know, we're getting this all the way. So flash forward now to July of 2014. So about a month and a half before we're supposed to move in, the leasing office sends us an email. I don't think they called us. I think they sent us an email. Sent us an email, was like, hey, you know, you guys need to come and pay your redecorating fee. And I think maybe there was like a deposit. I don't know. It was like $150 to $200 that we had to pay. And we're like, okay. So we go to pay it. And when we went, at the time, the leasing office was in a building on the site. But you could only see like the buildings around it. You couldn't see the whole entire complex, because the complex itself was pretty large and a lot of it was like blocked off for construction, so you couldn't really see it. But from what I could see, it looked like, you know, everything's built, everything looks super nice. The leasing office, the building it was in, was like super nice. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And yeah, and by the way, this apartment complex was very strange, because it's not like most apartment complexes where it's just like straight up and down like buildings. It was one that had like townhouses, they had like cottages, they have like all these different styles of apartments you can live in. So like it looks like a really cool like community and stuff. It's weird. I don't know. The architecture of the place is beautiful. It's just very, very strange to try to explain to people. But like I said, at the time, you know, everything looked like it was being built really nicely. Like, from what I could see anyways, past the construction areas, like, it looked like everything was really nice. So went, pay the thing, and they were like, oh, yeah, like, this is your move-in date. We'll see you guys, like, you know, have fun. We'll see you guys in a few weeks. Or, like, it was like a month and a half. I don't know. Whatever. But the people at the leasing office were like, yeah, we'll see you guys then. Like, can't wait to have you guys move in. And we were like, okay, awesome. So for the next couple of weeks, we're just getting ready to move in our apartment. I'm, like, looking on IKEA, looking at beds, looking at all this. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. So, flash forward about, I would say, like, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, about a week before we're supposed to move in, we get an email, not a call, an email from the leasing office telling us, oh, by the way, guys, you're not going to be able to move in on your scheduled move-in date because the apartments aren't going to be ready. Now, this wasn't just sent to my building. This was literally sent to, like, half of the people that were in the community. Like, I think there were maybe, like, 3 or 4 buildings that were actually done. Like, over half of the community got this email saying, oh, yeah, you guys can't move in on this date. And me being the person that I am, I start to panic because I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, where am I going to go? Like, I have to go to school. I was in a sorority at the time, so I was, like, having recruitment coming up. It was just insane. So me and my roommate were, like, freaking out because the two of us are, like, friends, and then our other two roommates, like, we had met them, but we weren't, like, you know, like, friends with them, like, the way we're friends, you know what I mean? Okay, anyways, so we're, like, freaking out. And basically they were like, oh, well, you guys have, like, options. They were like, you can either stay at home with your parents or find, you know, other accommodations, and we'll give you guys money, and, like, we'll pay for a parking pass. Or then they were like, or you can, like, stay in a hotel, and we'll pay for it, and we'll give you, like, less money, but you'll still get money from us. But basically, they would be footing the bill for the hotel. So, because me and my roommate, our hometown is, like, about an hour and, well, 45 minutes to, like, an hour away from the school, we were like, okay, we can't commute, especially not being in a sorority. We couldn't do it at that time. So, we decided to take the hotel option, and that's what we did. We moved into this hotel, and we were told it'll just be, like, 2 to 4 weeks. And your apartment will be ready. That's what we were told at the time. And actually, I think before that, in the first email they sent us, where they told us, oh, like, you're not going to be able to move in, it was, like, 1 to 2 weeks. And then when we actually went to move into the hotel, they were like, oh, it might be up to a month. So the time frame changed between, like, the time that they sent the email to the time that we actually went to go get the keys to go to the hotel. Very strange. And this is the part where I say you guys can follow the saga almost on my channel, because obviously I was filming YouTube videos at the time, so you guys could see where I moved places. So the first video that I ever filmed in the hotel was on August 20th, and I actually have notes on this. I just don't remember this from memory, but I have notes on it so I could remember. So August 20th, 2014 was the first ever video I filmed in the hotel. I moved into the hotel. I think that some video before it I referenced the fact that I was going to be in a hotel, and then in that video I was like, yeah, I'm in a hotel. So I was in this hotel, and like I said, they told us it was like, maybe, they were like, at most it'll be a month. So I was like, okay, I can do this, hopefully it'll be less than a month, whatever. Ends up not being a month, and they keep pushing it back. So every couple of weeks we get an email, we're like, oh, this is going to be your move-in date, and then something will happen, and then it'll be like, nah, actually no. So literally, I think maybe, I wish I had the email still, but I don't think I do. I don't think my email goes back that far. I think probably the time we were in the hotel, we got about 3 or 4 messages saying, oh yeah, this is going to be your move-in date, and then it would like change, and it never happened. So I was literally in the hotel that I was supposed to be in for up to, well, originally was supposed to be 2 weeks, that turned into a month, ended up being 2.5, no, maybe not 2.5 months, like 2 months, because the last video that I filmed in the hotel was October 22nd. So basically 2 whole months I spent living in a hotel while I was going to school in a sorority, like working every other weekend at my job because my job was at home at the time, and it was just the most stressful semester of my life. My grades that semester would show you how stressful that semester was. They were not very good, and it was just a mess. So basically, around this time that we ended up moving out of the hotel, you would think, oh, we're moving into our apartments. Jokes, not moving into the actual apartment. So basically what happened was, it was getting towards like the middle, end of October when they contacted us and were like, hey, so we're not going to be able to move you into your apartment. But they were like, we have these open units available that we can move you guys into. You can stay there until your apartment's done. And they're like, you won't have to move all your stuff from the hotel. You can just move it from the apartment that's already on site. Now, explain to me why, in God's name, you would have buildings built that nobody has signed a lease for, but you don't have a building built that has like 100 residents that signed the lease to live in that building. Like, explain that to me. That makes absolutely no sense. And the place that we moved into was literally like, almost like, I guess, a townhouse, because it was 2 floors and it was just for me and my roommate. And we did end up taking that option, mostly because like living in the hotel was just very stressful. We were in each other's space too much, and we just needed kind of more space. So the first ever video that you see of me in there was October 29th. That's in the temporary housing, which sounded all great and wonderful because they were like, you know, it's temporary, like it'll be like maybe like 2 weeks, and then we're like, well, have you moved in? Jokes. First off, this place was temporary. It was supposed to have been completely finished, like that's why they let us move in. I kid you not, that there were about 4 or 5 mornings where I woke up to people literally nailing stuff onto the building. Like, I kid you not, like, I woke up one morning, looked outside my window in the temporary apartment, and there were maintenance people doing stuff on the building. Not, like, fixing water pumps or anything, like, outside the building. No, literally, like, hammering on the building. Woke me up and scared the crap out of me one morning. My roommate was upstairs because at the time when we lived there, it was, like I said, 2 stories. So the bedrooms are on the bottom floor, and the kitchen and the living room on the top floor. She was upstairs in the kitchen making food, and there was, like, these big windows, because this place just, like, had these really nice, like, big windows. There are big windows. There was literally a guy up on a ladder on our roof when we had moved in, but it was supposed to be finished. I don't understand. I don't know. At this point, I was literally just so done with this place, but I was just like, you know what, at least I'm not having to share a bathroom anymore. Like, I don't know. It was just the most annoying process. And literally, like, the temporary housing, like I said, it was really nice, but the fact that people were still working on it meant it was not done, and they just let us move in there, and I don't understand that. And I still don't understand why that building was done before ours. But regardless, that happened. So I think this was probably, like, around mid-November, so almost, like, a year since we had signed the lease. Got an email, they were like, hey, we have your designated move-in date, your guys are moving in, they've said it, you're going to move in. And we're like, okay, so we double check with them like 3 times, and they're like, yes, this is the date you guys are going to move in, go ahead, get your stuff, like, it's fine. So me and my roommate were like, okay, so we go to IKEA. If you've ever been to IKEA to get furniture and, like, done the self-service, it's very annoying, especially when you're getting, like, something heavy like a bed. Me and her both had to get beds. So we got our beds, all the pieces to our beds, and then our mattresses. Got all of that, went there, got it set to be delivered to us, and literally, I will tell you, I kid you not, like 3 days later, they sent us an email. They're like, oh yeah, you guys aren't moving in. At this point, I was very, very angry, and my parents were very angry because they had planned to take off the next, like, weekend to, like, help me. I was so mad. Like, I kid you not. And we were literally like, what are we supposed to do? So we had to go and completely, like, cancel our order, like, everything at IKEA. All of our, like, work of, like, getting that stuff was useless because we weren't able to move in. We were like, what the heck? And literally, we did not end up moving until the very beginning of December. The last video that I filmed in the temporary apartment was December 3rd. And I think that we moved in, like, December 6th to the new apartment. So you calculate that. I moved August 20th was the first time I was in the hotel. So, like, and actually I moved in, like, August 16th, but the first video I filmed was August 20th. So you take that and you take, like, to December. It was basically, like, August, 4 months almost that I wasn't in my apartment. Yeah, that's insane. And I wish that was the end of the story. I really do wish it was, but we still got a little bit more to go, guys, because we haven't even made it to 2016 yet. This is all 2014. Oh my god. Okay, so basically we end up being able to move in. They're like, okay, you guys are definitely moving in. Have to go redo the whole process of going to IKEA again, which is very annoying. Like I said, if you ever have to do it, it's very annoying, but it's a lot cheaper than having them do it for you. So do all that, and we're able to move in. The funny thing is, the week that we're supposed to move in is also finals week, so they were like, oh, you guys don't have to move in. I was like, heck no, I'm moving my stuff in, because I'm like, I waited 4 months to move into this place. I moved my stuff on in, and I was like, okay, whatever. Also, it was like a week before Christmas break, so literally I lived in the apartment for like a week, and then literally Christmas break started, so I came home because my job was at home, and I worked on like weekends and holidays. So I came home, and I literally didn't live in my apartment for, like, the first month. I lived there for, like, a week, and then I was done. And the first video that you actually saw in the apartment was January 8th, so that was the first time, like, you saw that old setup in my apartment with, like, the bed where I was, like, I had the laptop, that's the word, on the refrigerator. Like, that was the first time. And I moved in, blah, 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 all that. Thought everything was going to go great. Jokes. This place is a complete joke. When I say that this complex is a joke, like, I'm not kidding. I haven't even gone into details about how, like, inconsiderate and rude, like, some of the staff is, or was. I don't know if they still work there, but, like, the staff would, like, never answer your questions because they had no idea what was going on, because it's all, like, ran by students, except for, like, the managements, but the managers are never there. So every time you talk to anybody as a student, they have no idea what's going on. But that just was, like, an ongoing thing. Well, anyways, so, like I said, January 2015, we're in 2015 now. Okay, we're moving on up. January 2015 is when I filmed my first video that was in there. And foolishly, me and my roommates decided to re-sign our lease, because at this point, we'd already moved 3 times, and we were like, forget it, I'm not moving again. So we were like, you know what, we're going to stay here, we're going to do this. So, everything seemed to be going well. The only thing that really made me mad, like, during my first couple months there, like, actually in the apartment, was the fact that the maintenance people, like, never came. And that the management, like, never answered any questions. But the biggest thing was, like, the maintenance not coming, because one time, like, honestly, our apartment didn't have that many issues, like, I guess, like, that needed maintenance fixing, except for the fact that my roommate's, like, sink, I think, or her drain or something got clogged up, and she needed it fixed, and they told her to fix it herself. And then my door was broken. Like, the door did not lock. Like, you guys know the flat piece that, like, is on this door, and then you close, like, it's like this. So, like, this is the flat piece, and then when you lock your door, it closes and it clicks. So, they have to be, like, aligned for it to click so that your door will shut. My door, it was so off alignment that the door wouldn't even shut. It's not the fact that it wouldn't lock, it's the fact that it wouldn't even shut. Like, it would open back up because it didn't align. And I put in a maintenance request. They never came. Literally waited like 3 weeks. They never came. I had a situation occur, and I was just like, you know what? I was like, the door is going to have to lock. So I literally fixed the door myself. It looked like crap, but I fixed it so that it actually did lock. But that was just a very annoying, like, process that happened. So on top of that, the apartment itself really didn't have issues with, like, anything big in the apartment. The biggest issues I had was that you could just tell that they had done a rush job on the apartment, which makes no sense to me because it took them like 4 months after to get me moved in. But it was like a rush job. Like, when I moved in, there was like sawdust all up in my closet from where I know that they just didn't clean up after themselves. There were, like, scratches on the wall from where they had moved in appliances and, like, not repainted. There were, like, big, like, weird, like, indentions in the paint, like, where you could just tell, like, they either messed up or, like, didn't go back over it, or, like, I don't even know what they did. Our wall sockets, all of them were, like, painted over, so, like, in order to get your chargers in it, you would have to, like, push it in. So annoying. All the fixtures were really cheap, which is weird to me because it was supposed to be a high-end apartment. But all the fixtures, like, not the appliances. The appliances and, like, the countertops and, like, the floors were really nice. But, like, all the, like, other stuff, like the doorknobs, the sinks, like, trying to think of other fixtures, like, the lights. Everything was very, like, cheap, which is weird to me because I was paying, like, a really good amount of money. And it was supposed to be high-end and, like, I don't understand. Which I'm not even mad about because, honestly, compared to other people's horror stories that lived in this apartment complex, honestly, we had it good for, like, the first, like, year that we lived there. And, like, when I say, like, people had issues, like, I mean, like, I know this one girl said that, like, her roof was leaking. I know girls that said, like, because I know these people that were, like, their washer and dryer, like, stopped working and, like, maintenance took, like, 3 weeks to fix it. I mean, people had mold. Like, this wasn't just, like, my complex. Like, this was literally all over the entire, like, area. It wasn't just my building. It was literally all over this complex. Like, people had parties. There would be glass bottles in the road, which, I mean, like, granted, isn't their fault. That's the people that live there. But, you know, just stuff like that. It was just very annoying. But, anyways, I said we did resign our lease because we were like, we're not moving. Went home for the summer. Came back. Okay, so when I came back, at first when I lived there, we had open parking, so you could park wherever, and, you know, it was first come, first serve, which is, you know, kind of annoying because, like, sometimes there's, like, a lot of people if people have parties, but it wasn't, like, terribly hard to find a parking spot. However, they had told us, like, the next year that they were going to start having, like, premier parking or, like, reserve parking, which basically means, like, you could pay, like, extra money a month, and you would get a reserve parking spot that was just for you. Now, I personally wasn't going to pay that because, like, no, I'm not paying them extra money. Like, I just don't care. And they were supposed to be a limited amount. So they were like, you know, there maybe will be, like, 20 allotted for the whole entire complex. This huge complex. They were like, there'll be, like, 20 allotted ones. Because they're like, you know, we're not going to try and, like, let everybody have them. Jokes. By the time I left this place, the whole entire front section in front of my apartment and, like, all the way around, like, I kid you not, like, I wish I could show you, like, a video of the complex, but I don't have a video of it. Literally, all the way down this one entire sidewalk and then wrapped around, like, every parking spot was a reserved one, so it was way more than 20 because, obviously, I didn't even see the ones that are, like, down here on this side of the complex and over on this way. I only saw the ones near my building. All of them are reserved, and I was like, what the heck? So, literally, parking became such a hassle. There was never anywhere to park. I would have to park all the way down, like, in this other area and walk all the way to my apartment, which was ridiculous because why am I paying you guys this much money to not have a parking spot? I don't understand. Just really annoying stuff like that, which, honestly, the parking was my biggest pet peeve at first. But, as you guys will hear from the rest of the story, it just continues to get worse. So, anyways, the parking becomes an issue. The parking is annoying. It literally has been annoying since, you know, like August of 2015 when I came back to school, has been super annoying, and I'm like, okay, I think that maybe I'm going to move out. And me and my roommate started discussing it, and we decided we're going to move out. Because my other roommate, who has all the furniture, she's going to be moving the next year anyway, so we're like, we're not going to have any furniture, we're going to have to buy furniture, we might as well just move somewhere cheaper. So we started looking into apartments. I don't even remember. We started looking, like, actually, like, seriously looking into apartments, like, not what we did the time before, like, actually looking into apartments, started doing that pretty early, I would say maybe, like, around February, January, we started looking, and, you know, everything was fine. We were, like, looking for apartments. Our lease was supposed to end in July, clearly, as you can see, ended before that, was supposed to end, like, the end of July, and we were going to move maybe, like, mid to end July into a new apartment. So, like I said, all this is going on, and then all of a sudden, our bills start going up, like, our rent starts going up, and we start getting charged for utilities. Now, here's the thing. It's not like, when you live in a student apartment, your utilities are usually included in the rent. They're usually not added on, unless the apartment says that. At least in the area I live in, most of the apartments, it's, like, added to your rent. So, like, our apartment complex, when we signed the lease, was like, okay, so you have a cap on, like, everything. And if you exceed the cap, then you get charged extra for utilities. But we were told, like, when we signed the lease, they were like, you know, in order to go over the water cap, you're going to have to be basically, like, studying in the shower. They're like, you know, it's not going to be, like, you're not going to go over it. They were like, in order to, like, go over the electricity, you'd have to have, like, all the lights on all the time. Like, stuff like that. So explain to me why we never had any kind of, like, overages ever in, like, a year. And all of a sudden, in, like, March of this year, we started getting over usage things telling us we were overusing it, which makes absolutely no sense to me, because we were at the apartment less than we were before, because me and my roommate now have jobs in the city instead of at home, so we're at the apartment less. The lights, we keep the lights off pretty much, like, because we have big windows, so we keep them off during the day. Like, we're not using any extra electricity, we're not using any extra water. Like, honestly, we're using less of everything pretty much, and we're getting charged more. So it was adding like about $30 to $40 onto each of our rent, which our rent's already expensive at this place, so I was like, what the heck? And literally did not understand it. So basically, we're pretty sure that they just completely changed their lease without telling us, where they basically decided, oh, we're not going to do a cap anymore, we're going to charge you for what you're using, which is the most ridiculous thing, because then why are we still getting the charge? Because the point of the rent being so expensive is because you have the cap. You have the really high cap on your water and your electricity and all that. So in order to do that, they should have taken our rent down by taking out the cap and then just having us be charged for utilities separately. But they never did that. That wasn't what happened, and I was just getting really annoyed. I was like, I don't want to pay them this extra money. And like I said, we were still looking at apartments. We had already, like, pretty much narrowed it down to, like, 3 that we were, like, you know, we really liked. And we were like, okay. So, flash forward now. My very last video that I filmed in the apartment was May 2nd. So, that weekend was Mother's Day weekend. And I had to work on Mother's Day because I work at a restaurant. And it's just super busy. So, I had to work. So, I went home on Thursday of that week to see my mom, because we were taking her out on Friday as like a pre-Mother's Day kind of thing, since I couldn't be there. Took her out on that. Everything's fine. Saturday morning rolls around, and I have to be at work Saturday night. Like, I think I had to be there at 4. So I had to be at work at 4. I left here. I was running late, because I'm always running late, and I had to go stop and get food, because if not, I was going to, like, pass out from not eating. So I was, like, kind of stressing, but I seemed to be, like, making good time, whatever. So I was probably about 20 minutes from work, and I had about 40 minutes to get there, so I was, like, doing really good. And I get a phone call from my roommate, so I answer the phone. At first, I didn't hear it, so then she looked, and she was like, hey, call me. And so I called her back when I was, like, at a stoplight, and I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, just so you know, I got a call from the apartment complex telling me we need to have our stuff out by midnight. And I'm like, once again, mind you, I'm in the car on my way to work. Like, I'm on my way to work. I was already freaking out because I thought I was going to be late, but I wasn't. But now, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What do you mean they want us out? And she's like, I don't know. They said something's wrong with the building. Like, we need to be out by midnight because they need to do inspections. And I'm like, whoa, like, what? And, like, okay, once again, I am really panicky. And I literally thought I was going to have a panic attack in the car. Like, I did not know what was going on. My roommate didn't really explain it that well. I will say that. She didn't really, like, explain it to me the best. But I don't think she really knew what was going on at the time. So I'm, like, freaking out because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm going to be at work all night because it was Saturday night. I'm like, I'm going to be there all night. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So literally, I'm trying to call my mom. My mom's not answering. I'm like, why aren't you answering me? Like, oh my god. My mom, she was at the store, but she wasn't answering me. And I was, like, freaking out. So I called my sister, left her a frantic voicemail. My sister called me back. I was like, hey, are you with mom? She was like, no, she's at the store. I was like, okay, well, you need to tell her, like, that I'm going to work. And, like, I was going to work because I was already, like, halfway there. I was like, I'm going to work. I'm going to go talk to my managers. I'm going to go try and figure this out because I don't know what's going on. Literally, I sounded like that, panicky. It was just bad. I was like, tell mom, like, I'm going to work. Like, I'll try to call her. So I go into my work. I'm, like, freaking out. Probably scared the crap out of my manager. I was like, oh my god, like, this stuff is happening. I don't know what's going on. Like, I have no idea. And he was like, okay, calm down. Like, we'll take you to the office. So him and the other managers, we went in the back office. And my managers actually ended up calling the complex for me. And literally, like, wrote down everything they said. Because I didn't know. So basically, they were saying that they were like, we found, I guess, like, they had people come look at the building. And they found something that they thought might be wrong, and they wanted to do a better investigation of it. So they were like, we just need you guys to move out for a week. They were like, you don't have to take everything, just take the stuff you're going to need for a week. And they're like, we'll give you an option. You can either, we'll put you guys up in a hotel, or you can, like, stay at home. We'll, like, give you guys money. Like, you know, basically a replay of what happened 2 years before. Or not even 2 years before. I don't know, like a year and a half before. All this happened. And I'm like, okay, what the heck? So I get on the phone with them, and I was, like, reading what my managers had, like, wrote down to make sure they were telling me, like, the same information. I was like, okay. Well, I was like, what does my roommate want to do? I was like, just put me and her in a hotel together, okay? Like, it's fine. And they're like, okay, that's fine, like, whatever. Okay, so my manager's like, okay, well, we'll, like, let you leave early from work so that way you can, like, pack your stuff. Like, don't worry, like, we'll get you out of here. And we were like, okay. So call my mom back, because they let me, thank God. And I was like, hey, like, you know, whatever. My mom was like, oh, I already called them, and, like, freaked out on them, whatever. Trust me, my mom's freaked out on them, like, 10 times, like, since I moved there. And I was like, okay, so go to work, finish up work, go back to the apartment, pack up my stuff. And my roommate, when I get there, my roommate's like, by the way, she's like, they're not going to put us up in a hotel for a week. She's like, they don't have the money to. They literally said they don't. Basically, they told us, they were like, okay, you either make accommodations for yourself and we'll give you $1,500, or they were like, or you stay in an empty room that we have available, like, somewhere on the complex, which could be, like, literally with anybody. And they're like, you know, we won't pay you. I was like, okay, no, I'm taking the money. So me and my roommate ended up taking the money and staying in a hotel ourselves. They did put us in a hotel for the first night, but, like, that was it. And then after that, me and my roommate just decided to take the money. We stayed in a hotel for a week because we were like, you know, maybe it'll just be a week that we're in here. I should have known better. It wasn't. Literally did not hear anything from them. So this started on Saturday, like Saturday the 7th, I believe, because Mother's Day was the 8th. Saturday the 7th is when this started. So literally, like I said, Saturday the 7th, we told them, hey, like, we're going to make our own accommodations, whatever, like, we'll figure it out. Literally from Sunday until Thursday, did not hear anything from the complex about whether or not we were going to be able to move in with a week. Thursday night, they call us and they were like, oh, by the way, guys, you are going to be able to move back in. Basically, the complex was sinking into the ground. Well, not the complex, the building, our building, was sinking into the ground. Which makes complete logical sense to me because in front of our building is what was supposed to be a lake that never actually got filled in. So it's basically just been a hole in the ground for literally, like, since I moved in. So it makes complete sense to me that it would be sinking. And my uncle said he thought that, like, it was built, like, the whole entire complex was, like, built on a landfill. But it was just our building that was having this issue. So, it, like 100 people basically had to leave from the complex. And it was just really annoying. And so they were like, okay, well, your other option is you can either move into another apartment on the site, or they were like, you can just go ahead and break your lease. Now, me and my roommate, at this point, it's like May, and our lease expired in July, so we were like, let's just end the lease. We ended up ending the lease and moving out, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to give you back the money for the rent that you paid, because, like, obviously you didn't stay here for the month, and you're going to get it back. So I'm still waiting on that check to come, which is like $500 and something. And yeah, that's basically what has happened, and that's why I'm not at the apartment. That's why I've been here at the my parents' house. Basically, just like was homeless for, like, you know, not really homeless because I was staying at the hotel for like a week. Because, oh, and by the way, this all happened during finals. During finals, it was the week of finals that this happened, guys. That I had to move. It was ridiculous. Like I said, so the week of finals, I was living in a hotel. Then after that week, after they told us we couldn't move back in, my parents, at first they told us, they were like, oh, you guys can, like, keep your stuff in here until you, like, need to move it into somewhere else. Because at this point, we, had, like, another apartment that we were, like, looking to get, an apartment in. Or another complex we were looking to get an apartment in. So we just needed to wait till we got everything approved. Did not happen. They were like, at first they were like, yeah, you can keep your stuff in here. And then they changed their mind and they were like, no, you have to get your stuff out. So literally last weekend, my parents had to go and get all of my stuff out of my apartment. The same day, we went and we filled out our, like, paperwork to move into a new apartment with our friend. Filled all that out. And then yesterday, my parents helped me move all my stuff into my new apartment that we just got our keys for. Which I'm still, like, having to get stuff for because obviously I don't have the money saved up that I would have had saved up in July. says I had to move, but I don't really have a choice because I live so far away and my job is there. And it just is the most insane freaking thing that has ever happened. So yeah, that's basically the saga with this place. Started out not being able to move in and then got kicked out basically because the apartment was sinking into the ground. I don't really know. That's what it said. I saw a news report about it. That's what it said, that it was like sinking. I don't know if that's actually true. I think it's the foundation is really bad. I have no idea. But of course that would happen to me. And I guess in the long run it is good because I wanted to move out anyways, and you know, now we got to move out sooner and we got money from them because they had to pay us, which is nice. But yeah, it just made everything a lot more stressful than it needed to be. God bless my parents for helping me move 2 weekends in a row, and I still have other stuff I have to move in, which I'm doing like tomorrow, and it's just, so insane. But I do really, really like our new apartment. It's really nice, so I will definitely do a tour of it for you guys sometime soon once we get like everything settled. But yeah, I just thought I would share that apartment from hell story because it's just been a saga and it's been ongoing since I started this channel. So I thought since it ended, it was imperative that I tell you guys, explain it to you, and also so that way when I do have a new setup, you guys will understand where I'm at. So I'll be there like probably next week, and yeah. But I hope this gives you guys like some warnings. Just be really cautious about places when you sign leases. Definitely look into more than one place. We did not do that. That was stupid. You know, make sure like they have good management, because honestly this place's management was terrible. They've changed management like 5 times in the year and a half I've lived there. They have terrible reviews online. All of their good reviews are literally from people that work there. So it's not just me saying this because something bad happened to me. It's literally other people that haven't had issues with their building. Like, it's just a terrible place. They're honestly really money hungry. That's why they let way more than 20 people buy reserved parking passes, because they needed to make up for all the money they spent when they had to keep us in hotels the first time. They only let us out of our leases because they literally couldn't afford to pay us off. And it's just the most ridiculous place. So just keep in mind, if you are ever looking for an apartment, to really look into reviews and to really just know what you're getting into, because this place was an absolute joke. I'm so glad that we were able to get everything settled. I'm so happy that we were able to find an apartment, you know, within like a good amount of time. I just hate that we had to go through all of that, and it was just a mess. And I'm also sorry this video is extremely long, but I feel like this is like a 2.5-year saga, so I'm really sorry about that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it like gave you some words of caution, and yeah, that's kind of an explanation for why you guys will see me in a new location soon. Yeah, so I'm really tired of talking. My voice is going away. I'm gonna go. I have to go pick up my sister from school, and then I'll be back later to film another reaction. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.